Okay, so for the first test we're gonna do is gonna be the seated trunk rotation. I have my wife posing as an athlete. She's not a rotational athlete, so her norm is gonna be more around like the 60-degree range, but we would be looking for like rotational athletes like baseball pitchers, tennis players. We'd be looking for 90 degrees of rotation. So she's sitting here with a nice upright posture. Now I'm just gonna have her turn with her hips staying exactly like they are. I'm gonna have her turn all the way to the right as far as she can go with her hips staying in line. Good. Alright, so that's almost 90 degrees. She's got really good rotation on that side. Now let's check and see the other side. It's just slightly bit less on this side, so you may have a tiny bit of imbalance, but eventually we'll tease that out. Okay, so for our next flexibility assessment, we're going to be doing the modified Thomas test. And normally you're supposed to use a goniometer to measure out the joint angle of the knee and the hip as you pull the hip towards you. But for field testing purposes, which for strength conditioning is basically the kind of the best that I'm going to be able to do with probably 30 athletes at a time, is to go ahead and pull your knee to your chest, just one knee. Okay, so you're looking to see if the lumbar spine can stay in contact with the surface underneath. I know we're on a bed and it's not a training table, which would be more ideal. But we're trying to see pull it all the way to the chest. We're trying to make sure that this leg right here does not come up anymore. That would indicate a tight psoas, tight iliopsoas. Now you can go ahead and pull that down. Now we're going to do the other side. Go ahead and bring that one up. There you go. You see how that knee kind of comes up whenever she pulls her knee to her chest? That would indicate that she's got either tight quadriceps or tight iliopsoas. Our third assessment test that we're doing is going to be the Apley scratch test. It's called the shoulder mobility test for the functional movement screen. So we're going to score it like that. So we're going to go 1 for, they call it 10 inches. Anything further than 10 inches away from each other is going to be scored as a 1. Let's see, anything further than, 1.5 hand lengths is going to be a 2. And anything closer than 1 hand length is going to be a 3. My wife has excellent shoulder mobility, so she's probably going to get a 3 on this. So if you would, just go ahead and bring these, make a fist. Try to touch them, like try to reach as far as you can. And as you can see, she's basically touching each other. So that would be scored as a 3. Now go to the other side. All right, so she's got definitely a 3 on both sides. This would be able to tell you like imbalances side to side, which one has more internal or external rotation than the other. You'd see this more with like single arm athletes as opposed to bilateral or bi-arm. So for our fourth flexibility assessment, we're going to be doing the deep squat, as it's called by the FMS. It's just an overhead squat with a using lacrosse shaft. It's about the same thing as a PVC pipe. But if you would, go ahead and bring that straight overhead, arms completely locked out. All right, now I'm just going to have you squat. Yep, and we're looking to see if those thighs go parallel or below parallel. And we're trying to see if you can keep an upright torso. So try to... Okay. Okay, so you would probably be scored as probably a 2 right there. But let me... Okay, so this is the problem with actually not having an FMS, is you don't have the same exact toolings that they have. But we're improvising with a yoga mat. So now I want you to perform the same exact thing and try to keep those arms straight overhead and try to keep that torso upright. All right? It's good. Yeah. Okay, so you'd be scored as a 2 because you needed an implement for underneath the feet. So for our final assessment for our mobility screen, we're going to address the hamstrings. Basically, I don't have the tooling for the FMS, nor do I probably have the time, as you'd be dealing with like 20 kids in a matter of like 10 minutes. So Don't really have the time, but we can, with the goniometer, measure exactly what the angle is from here to the top of the, or to the lateral malleolus. So if you would just go ahead and raise your leg up. Okay, keep that leg straight. There you go. Okay, so we'd be able to measure it from there, and it would probably be like 85, almost 90 degrees if she were to keep her leg straight. So I don't have a goniometer. I apologize for that. And now we're gonna go through with the same thing on this leg. So keep that leg straight. There you go. And again, it's probably 80, 85 degrees. So she would score normal, as the normal ranges are 60 degrees to 90 degrees. And anything over 90 is just excellent for an athlete. Hope you enjoyed this flexibility assessment.